Welcome to this edition of the Sports Den. If we can, I'm going to ask my producer to take a look at what's in the studio with us here tonight on Christina's camera. Of course, this is, if we can switch over, Steve, take a look at Coach Jones. There we go. That's what I want. That is emblematic of the National Basketball League of Canada championship ring. It belongs to the Windsor Express. That is the ring of head coach Bill Jones. So you know where this show is going. Before we get into Coach Jones and Windsor Express, a quick shout out to the AKO Fratman football team. They win a huge game against the Hamilton Hurricanes, 16-14. They now sit in first place at 5-1 in the Ontario Football Conference. 2 more games for the Fratmen before they enter into the postseason. Hopefully they win those 2 games and control their own destiny, and they would have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Leamington Flyers and the Great Lakes, or I should say the Great Ontario Junior B Hockey League on a 5-game winning streak. Tony Perossi getting things turned around there. Good luck to them this week. And Lancer football, they lose their first game of the season. They lose to Guelph, but they'll look to bounce back this weekend at Alumni Field and improve on their 4-1 record. Good luck to Coach Joe Demore and the gang at the University of Windsor. One thing that I'm going to introduce to our viewers tonight that you can tune into, our YouTube channel. You can join our YouTube channel at youtube.com. All the information is there, and you can watch all of the we-tv.ca productions at our YouTube channel. We'd love to have you join in on that. And also, if you want to participate in tonight's show, of course, our Twitter page is going. I've got my little iPad going here. You can get involved with the discussion. If you want to talk to our guests, have some questions or comments, please tweet us at SportsDen Live. We'd love to hear from you. Speaking of the show, we're going to dedicate this show, we're going to call it a Sports Den special because we're going to dedicate it to one group in our city. They did an outstanding job last spring. They won the National Basketball League of Canada Basketball Championship in only their second year. They have a great group of people working there. They work extremely hard, and they're back for their 3rd season. We're excited to have them in the city, and hopefully they'll get the deserving attention that they have earned, and certainly the support that they need and deserve in our city and in our county, the Windsor Express basketball team. Joining us on the show is the CEO, president of the team, Mr. Dardis Willis. Welcome to the show, Dardis. This is your second time on Sports Den, eh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, last time you came in and just took part in one of our regular discussions, but now you're going to talk about your basketball team. But the off-season's been a busy one for you, I would imagine.
It has. The preparation behind the scenes happens all year long, and it begins to ramp up early on, 2 months before the season starts especially, so we're pretty busy.
Yeah, okay. We'll get back to you a little bit more. Dardis also on the show. He is now the Director of Basketball Operations. He took that title on earlier in the spring. He is also the head coach, coach of the year. Just did an outstanding job with this basketball team. What a performance by the head coach of the Windsor Express. Coach Bill Jones is in the studio with us.
Thanks for having me, Don.
Thanks for coming in. Finally got you on the show. And busier for you, I would imagine, this time around, being that you have that new title as part of your job with the Windsor Express.
Yeah, Dom, it's been pretty busy in recruiting players, going out on the road and identifying talent. We lost our point guard in Darren Duncan. We had some guys that signed late with us, so we went out and trying to get some new talent, getting our training camp together, getting all the things scheduled to get ready to start a season for our road to repeat.
Yeah, and that's why we have the Windsor Express in because their season is just around the corner. It's about a month away, a little bit less than a month actually. Their home opener, though, will take place on November 7th. It'll be a very special night at the Windsor Family Credit Union Center. They will raise the banner. They will also pass out the rings, and they hope a lot of the Windsor Express basketball fans will join in the celebration that night at the arena. Let's get into it, though. First, let's talk about going to the off-season with the league. Maybe we'll go with you first, Dardis, here, since you're involved with the league activities. I guess the biggest announcement for the league this year in the off-season was the television deal that's put together with beIN Sports.
It's an opportunity for us to highlight ourselves. You have a league that's in its 4th year, 9 different markets, and each one of them you have to bring together. And especially when you're going to be under a broadcast opportunity, you have individual markets producing differently. And so it's an opportunity to initiate a process to show some growth and development for the league. And so it's a process that has its growing pains, and we're trying to work through them.
But certainly, while it has its growing pains, Dardis, I think it's very important for the league to get something like this going, and certainly get that much more exposure going, not only in the markets that are part of the NBL, but certainly across the country.
Well, you know what? The saying of any press is good press, or any exposure is great exposure. I believe in simply putting us out there, and I think this opportunity to be on a national level like that is that opportunity.
The unfortunate, I guess, happening in the offseason for the league was the loss of the Ottawa franchise.
Yes.
Lost Montreal the previous year, Ottawa this year. Obviously, the league wants to create some kind of stability, some continuity there. How does that affect the league, Dardis? And is there any talk that perhaps Ottawa or even Montreal will be back in the league?
Well, you know, from the board side, I sit on the board of directors as well. And, you know, prior to the league itself, we did our due diligence in looking at some of the larger leagues like the NBA and what they went through early on. Very similar here in this case. You have those markets that are being explored, and that's exactly what they are. We were in a position at one point where things were very tough and tight right here in the Windsor market. And sometimes if the management, the city, and everyone involved are not together on the same page, sometimes you have those lapses. And if you look at the Ottawa and Montreal situations, they were very unique, and at the same time, there were some similarities. We have accepted that sometimes these things will happen, and you have to keep pushing the league. We're early on, we're in our infancy stage, learning just basically how to crawl. And the next thing you know, we'll be walking, and we'll be looking at 15 to 18 teams around the country, hopefully. And so it's part of the process, part of the business, and we'll keep it going.
All right, good stuff. And hopefully that does work itself out, and we can get into some divisions, things like that. Let's talk about Windsor Express, Coach Jones. That's where you come into this equation. A lot of people have asked me, they loved the team. They thought they were a very talented bunch of guys, but they also could sense that there was some real, I'm not going to say egos, but certainly it was a juggling act in how to control the temperament of some of your players. And that's what was key, I think, in winning this championship. How tough was that job for you?
You know, it was tough. I mean, you know, we got guys that come from different areas, different personalities, and trying to be able to get guys on the same page for the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal was to win a championship. So it took us the first month and a half to really understand our roles, understand what it was about to be a part of the organization while we were building a brand. And we were able to daily talk to these guys and let them know what it was about. All right, listen, you know, basketball is a short shelf life, so what do you want to do? So let's work on your personality. Let's get you to be a good guy. Let's get you to lose your temper. Some of these things that out there in the day-to-day life you won't be able to do. So once we talked to them and got them to understand that, then to come together as a group and to be determined to go ahead and win that championship, and that's what ended up happening for us.
Where did you sense, Coach, that, okay, we've got a chance to do something pretty special here and perhaps win a championship? But was there a turning point in the campaign that you thought, okay, I got the guys where I want them and I need them, and now I could really push them towards this? The
first year here in the league, I kind of got myself familiar with the league and the style of play and the players that we needed. So during the summer, those are the players that, you know, when we constructed the team, you know, having a Stephon Bonneau come back, keeping Darren Duncan, adding a Cornell Brown, those were the pieces that we needed to put together. And then also towards the season, as the season progressed, getting these guys to play together, to buy into what we were trying to do and understand. So I guess it had to be probably going into that second month, December. We started off, we struggled with injuries and then guys not meshing. And then we went, and our goal was to have a successful month. And then once we did that, we went into December and we started playing well, and then we went on the streak, and then, you know, it was history. Mm-hmm.
The one thing that both you and Dardis did, and we're not afraid to do, and I think this is admired by a lot of people, you weren't afraid to make moves. A lot of teams kind of would stay pat or maybe approach everything in a little more of a conservative manner, but both you and Dardis made it very clear you're going to do whatever it takes to get the right person or player involved as part of the team. How challenging was that, and does that process, is it ongoing, I guess, for the squad?
Dardis, you take that first.
Well, you know what, that responsibility is now in Bill's hand, but I can tell you that the year one, Bill was very clear on what he needed. Once he measured the level of the league and he saw the players that he had, he didn't hesitate. So pulling the trigger very quickly in a meeting was, hey, I need this, this, and this. This person isn't capable. He was very clear. We went right to work. Even though I helped pull a trigger, he was right there at the beginning, and he guided me because he played at that level.
Yeah.
And so he understood very clearly what he needed. And also one of the things he understated prior to that conversation was he did a good job at managing those personalities.
That's what it was.
At a level on both years, which he'll understate as a good coach would. He's just, I'm just doing it, I'm managing. No. Those guys had big egos. They were very good players, and they wanted their time and their attention and everything else as good players. And he managed a hat trick, and trust me, it was an everyday job, and he never complained about it. So he's going to understate it, but it was a job, and he's good at it. So
obviously, there's a bond between the two of
Yep.
you. The trust factor that goes into this. Obviously, you're trusting Coach Jones, as you mentioned. He guided you.
Yep.
Vice versa, you're going to trust Dardis to put what he can into getting you what you need. How far does that go, and does it ever get challenged? Do you ever sense that you got to challenge each other a little bit, maybe?
Oh, no question. We will not hesitate to, behind the scenes, go at each other for differences in opinions and thoughts and things like that as players as well. The one thing I'm very comfortable, and he knows this, I can walk away at the end of the day and know that he is going to have the same sentiments for and same goals that I have. So no matter what happens, that ultimately we want to get to the same direction. So my confidence level has been there since day one. So
Where does it go for you, Coach?
For me, from day one, to be able to have conversations in my interview process, to see Dardis and see his passion, and to understand what it is. The goal was to win a championship. The goal was to develop young men. And being able to have that and buy into that and think about that every day. And initially, my goal was to come out and try to outwork Dardis, because I'm a hard worker, but he's a hard worker. And what we do is now we work together. We don't try to outwork each other. We just try to understand where we're going, what our goals are, and then go out to get them accomplished. And that's why our relationship is where it is now, because at the end of the day, we know that both of us get up and know that we're going to put our best foot forward to make the Windsor Express brand to be championship level.
Kurt has chimed in here on our Twitter account, and Kurt says, love the Windsor Express. Can't wait to watch them win a second straight NBL championship. Go Express. Good fan, and of course, I think a lot of people are hoping that. How much pressure does that put on you guys to repeat as champions?
it doesn't. It puts it on Bill.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay. Talk about passing the buck here.
And I do. I take that. I think I have big shoulders. I call myself a gentle giant, so to be able to have that pressure applied is fun. That's what, I wake up for. I look at the league. We've been to our combine. I saw some of the coaches out there, and we were able to get our rings early to be able to go out and wear them with pride. So we know that we have that target on our back. We know that PEI went to the finals 2 years in a row, and now they're trying to get better. We know that London has won the championship 2 seasons, and now we beat them, so now they want to come back. And Mississauga and Brampton was close and played well during the regular season. So we know each and every day teams are coming at us, so we have to have ourselves ready. So each and every day we prepare ourselves off the court, going out and getting out in the community and letting people know about the Windsor Express brand, and then also in preparing our players and on the court. We know as soon as those guys come here in Windsor, we got to let them know that people are coming at us. We got to work hard. we got to be ready to go each and every day.
Of course, we're talking Windsor Express basketball. You can see some of the action that took place this past year with the Express. Speaking of that, Dardis, on a whole, you look at the playoff run last year, everything that happened, how the playoffs went, the series, the parity in the league was outstanding. And certainly the caliber, I don't think anyone's questioning the caliber of play. The league, how important is that to them to maintain that, and what are they doing, I guess, to lure the best players available and kind of get this on the same level maybe as over in Europe or something like that, so that players don't have to go across sea to play basketball?
Well, one of the things that we have to do and continue to do, Dom, is make sure we make it aware to the actual players. For the first 2 years, it was a slow grow. The advertising wasn't where it should have been. And then we stepped up a lot of it with supporting some of the different combines and other drafts by advertising in those and letting them know about the National Basketball League of Canada. The other thing that we did is, this is a Canadian league. We do have an escalation process that we use to make sure that, number one, we're giving our kids the opportunity to play here in their own country. So we started off year one, it was a two Canadian minimum. Mm-hmm. We're now up to 4. And if we keep with the development of the league the way it is, and you'll see it go a little bit higher, it makes the job a little bit more challenging for the coaches, because they got to make sure they have a good balance of players from around. But just continuing to put the best players out there is what's going to grow the league. The players talk for themselves, and when you see the games, you see the level of play. So it kind of speaks for itself a little bit. I think that we're getting a lot of traction right now. Mm-hmm. Seeing a lot of players that normally play overseas, and Coach hears a lot because he's out there recruiting. I think he went 3 different places this year, and so they recognized the National Basketball League of Canada, and he can probably speak to that a little bit as well.
All right, we'll save that because I got to take a quick time out, guys. We'll get a swig of water, and when we come back, we're going to continue talking about the Windsor Express, getting ready for their upcoming campaign, which kicks off in early November. We'll talk more with Dardis Willis and Coach Bill Jones right after these messages here on the Sports Day.
Like our champions, we know what it takes to win. Every day we put on our uniforms and we strive to be the best. Ring after ring, we keep practicing until it becomes second nature. Our craftsmen have put in thousands of hours to master their trade. And when things get tough, we make the adjustments needed to stay on top. Baron Championship Rings. This is who we are.
Adding new products or services to your brochure? Updating those drab business cards? Or looking to create a striking window display? In need of some screen-printed signs for that construction site or promotional campaign? Posters, vehicle wraps, and a whole lot more. At Angel Star Digital, our expert design and production team are ready to meet all your promotional needs. For samples of our work, check out our website at www.angelstardigital.com, or you can call us at 519-969-0712. That's 519-969-0712.
Thanks for sticking around to this edition of the Sports Den Live. Dominic Papa with you. We're talking all Windsor Express, the Sports Den special. We've got the CEO, president of the team, Dardis Willis, in the studio with us. Also the head coach, the coach of the year, and one of the premier coaches in Canadian basketball for sure, Mr. Coach Bill Jones. Mr. Coach Bill Jones. Mr. Coach Bill Jones. That's okay, all right. Yeah. You got to have coach. Coach now has become the second name for you, correct?
Exactly.
So,
and, Dom, I had a question for you.
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. It's my show. I ask the questions, okay?
Don't mess with
But
Bill.
you know what? I'll give you one time here. Go ahead.
Where's my theme music?
Your theme? Oh, you know what? That's the radio show.
Oh,
the radio show's got all the rights to that theme music.
Don't mess with Bill.
Coach, just to let our viewers know, Coach Jones does a radio segment with me, and we have it sounds like Dardis in the background, screaming and shouting, and it's all about Coach Jones, and it's perfect, very perfect. Basketball Jones, but we'll have to work on something for WeTV definitely, and get you a theme music there. Yes. Let's get back to Express basketball. Again, the home opener, folks, November 7th at the Windsor Family Credit Union Center. It's going to be a very special night. We want to fill the place. There's still a lot of good seats available. There's a lot of good ticket deals available. Just contact the Express. Go to their website, and they can take good care of you. They will work with you. They've got good group deals available, and certainly this team is deserving of a good audience, and they need and should have the support of Windsor and Essex County. They bring a great product to the table, and certainly an entity that we need to keep alive in our city, in our county, and gives an outlet to a lot of the Canadian players that are now playing. As Dardis mentioned earlier in the show, it's now 4 Canadians that have to be on the roster. So we've got a pretty good basketball program here in Windsor with the Lancers, also at St. Clair College. So I'm sure Coach Jones will certainly look over those guys and give them a chance. So it's a nice feeder system that develops there. Let's get into it a little bit more, guys, here. We talked about the league on a whole growing, the television deal, things like that, Dardis. We talked about the level of basketball. How important now is it for the league? And then I want to follow up with you, Coach. How important is it for the league to get maybe a higher caliber of basketball going? Is that possible at this point?
Well, you know what? It's a growth process.
And before you get into that, Dardis, that's no disrespect to the guys that are there. I think there are great athletes there already, and I think they will help in this process.
Well, it's an important piece, and it's a natural development. You have in proximity one of the best places to play in the world, right next to the U.S. So the talent bank coming from the U.S., you get a lot of feeding here for the combines and other things. So the word's spreading pretty quick. I think what you see, if you look at the development of the combine since year one, I was there in the inception. We didn't have a team at that time, but the first combine, and then the one we just went to in year 4, the talent level that is there compared to year 1 is unbelievable. So we expect that same process to continue. I think if you continue to get good coaches, you'll also increase the level of play because the expectations will be higher. And we've seen that. If you look at what they did in London year 1, they were not able to continue that. I mean, everybody continues to want to put on the best product on the floor, and so you're going to see just a natural increase.
Mm-hmm. And that's where you come in, Coach.
Yep.
We talked about the 4 Canadians that are now part of the roster. Obviously, that has to be taken into consideration. How far away is Canadian, university or college basketball than that of the U.S.?
I don't believe it's that far away, Dom. I mean, obviously, the last 2 first-round picks were Canadians. So what these guys are doing is they're doing good basketball at the youth level, the AAU, and you got a guy, Wiggins, that goes to the University of Kansas and plays 1 year, and now he's the first pick. Bennett, I think he won 2 years, went out to UNLV, and then was the first pick. Mm-hmm. So I believe youth basketball here in Canada is growing. I've been able to get into the community with camps and seeing some of the youth programs here, and basketball is getting better here. You know, I see a lot of AAU teams going over to the States. My little nephew plays AAU ball, and I know a team from Windsor goes over to the States and plays. So I think the level of basketball here in Canada is improving annually.
And I know, again, another great thing the Express do throughout the season is they go to a lot of schools and clinics and put on clinics and really are educating the youth about basketball at this level. With that said, is that where it does start, though, with the youth and coaching there? And is there a way that we can get coaches involved to, I guess, develop players for the next level?
And that's my initiative this season and moving forward. Dardis and I had talked about, now we got Coach Brumpton on our staff. Let's go out to the university and young kids that want to coach. Come on and be a part of the Windsor Express. Come out and coach. Watch us coach. Watch us organizing a team and doing that, and that'll help you go out. Now when you go back to your school, when you go back to coach players, that'll help you. You know, I played in the NBA. A lot of my coaches, they coached at high level over there, so now to be able to get some of that knowledge to take back to their kids is definitely beneficial.
How much do you draw on your NBA experience, and how has that groomed you to be the coach that you are right now and becoming?
A lot. different coaches, different relationships. I'm a shy guy by nature, so I don't usually say that I played in the NBA or I had a 14, 15-year professional career. What I do is let my work, speak for itself. Know that I'm coming out and every day I'm prepared to try to teach you what I've learned throughout my experiences. So the guys respect that. I don't think they'll like a guy saying, you know what, I played in the NBA, this is what you ought to do. No, let's go ahead and give you a platform to go out there and do the best that you can for yourself so that we can, try to graduate you from the Windsor Express.
We got a message from Extreme Athletics, and they're tuning in. We appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying the show. And if you want to chime in again, we got a few more minutes with Dardis Willis and Coach Bill Jones of the Windsor Express. Again, our Twitter or tweet address is @SportsDen Live. We'd love to hear from you, and if I can get a moment, I'll definitely make sure I get the question or comment out. Dardis, again, the challenge for this team is to, solidify itself. I think you've built up somewhat of a base here in Windsor and Essex County. I think the playoff run helped that along. But what are the biggest challenges right now for this team as far as not on the court but off the court?
Well, Dom, one of the things that you have to be embedded in the community. We've done a good job at making sure we're part of that, and we're going to continue that. It has to be reciprocated. The businesses and the rest of the community have to come and join us as we reach out. And if there was one thing we would really try to do is really try to solidify that business base. That's what supports professional teams. If you look at the opportunity to bring out potential customers and clients and entertain them in your own market, that's big because they're a part of the support system for an overall professional team. I mean, there's sponsorship, there's business partnerships, there's ticket sales, there's concessions. All those things depend on each other. And so we really want to see a growth in our business development side, really allow some of the businesses around to take part in what we do, offer a lot of the assets and things that we do have from the advertising and marketing, and then some of the other collaterals that allow businesses to really show themselves in a light. Being on your show, give an opportunity to advertise.
Well, that might bury you, being on my show. That might be a detriment against
Hope
you.
not.
Hope not, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, but just growing a business base for the team itself is really important.
Yeah. The one thing you did create last year was an outstanding, production, was the game at Caesars Windsor in the Coliseum. Huge success, just a tremendous atmosphere. And I can remember when we arrived in the afternoon, of course, we were fortunate enough to be a part of it, being the broadcaster that night. And the players went out for their warm-up, and I can remember the players saying, wow, this is what we need. This is what we need. Glad to say that's going to happen again this year.
That's correct. On January 21st, that highlighted game, second ever sanctioned professional game in a casino, will be done right here in Windsor. And so we're proud about that. Coach and those guys came through and they played differently. They
were really involved with the atmosphere, the audience, everything. It just seemed like such a high-end event on that night. And that's no disrespect to the Windsor Family Credit Union Center, but the Coliseum's the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Fair to
we
say.
had a blast.
Yeah, it was a fun night and just outstanding. Tell us about the team this year, Coach. Key off-season signings, and probably too early to put a stamp on what this team's going to be all about, but what guys are exciting to you?
Definitely to be able to have DeAndre Thomas come back as being our anchor. He was one of the first guys that
He's an anchor.
One of the guys that re-signed with us early, to look forward to him being a leader, being able to mentor, being able to take that leadership role and, like we talked about, grow up and be able to take his game to the next level. And then also Kevin Lazelle. Everybody loves Kevin Lazelle.
He's fiery.
He is. He's one of the fan favorites. And then now with the addition of Ryan Anderson. Ryan Anderson was an all-star. Right now we're in the process of still negotiating with Stephon Bonneau, so we don't know if he's going to come back, but a guy that's capable scorer that was an all-star last year. And then we got a good bench. We got Gary Gibson, a guy that's local, played high school ball here in Windsor. So I'm looking forward to coaching these guys, getting them out on the court. Deep in my heart, I got a feeling that this team can potentially be better. And that's kind of scary to know that those guys did a good job last year, and to have this group come in and understand what the goal is. The goal is the road to repeat and to go out there and take care of business.
And you got to figure a guy like DeAndre Thomas is not going to let these guys slouch, or Commons is not going to let these guys take a night off. They know what it's all about. They know what it takes to win now. So it's great to have that kind of experience back in the lineup, and that I'm sure will help you a little bit with your coaching. And just I'm sure these guys will be telling, look, buy into Coach Jones here, buy into Coach Jones here. I got 30 seconds. I'm going to wish you guys luck. It all starts in November. Again, November 7th is the home opener for the Windsor Express. Get out to the Windsor Family Credit Union Center. Can't wait for this to start, gentlemen. Congratulations on everything up to this point. Job well done. Now the task at hand is to keep it going, and hopefully a second ring gets on those fingers in the next year. That's it for this edition of the Sports Den Live. Hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again next week, same time, same place, 7 o'clock right here at the WeTV studio. Until then, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great night. Take care, everybody.